There it is, Mama. I
made
made it. Yeah.
Mama, I made it.
You like
Mama.
that, don't you? The juice is flowing every time, Swerve. It is Thursday, June 4th, 2024. Welcome to the only show about Spartan Dawgs, hosted by Spartan Dawgs. This is Sparta MSU. I'm your host, Jason Strayhorn, along with my co-host, Sedrick, Swerve, and Irvin.
Big AK. You don't remember that, Stray? You don't remember this one?
That can't bounce. Oh, yeah. Do the back. You and New Kirk. My boys from the bottom. I know y'all like it, man. If this is your first time to the show, we welcome you. And if it's not, we thank you. I mean, there's people logged in super early. You know, we got to give love. Woody was number 2 today. McKinney was in the house earlier, man.
Somebody beat Woody?
Yeah, I seen it. Somehow it's not on here. Woody must have some kind of back end software to erase it, but I believe you were beat today, Woody, out in Hawaii. But Swerve, man, talk to us, man. How you feeling, man? How was your weekend?
Hey, feel good, look good, they pay good. Shit, it's all good, Stray. How you feeling, brother? How was your weekend?
It was decent, man. You know, it was decent. It ain't about me. I just want to know about you, brother. I want to know how your mental is. You got me good last week with that. So how is Cedric Irvin's mindset right now, brother?
You know, my mindset, man, is really, first of all, let's give a rest in peace to Larry Allen. You know, we can start that off. But you know, going through this CTE and this concussion settlement and things you thought when you was playing, especially me, you know, I'm thinking, shit, I'm He-Man, you know, man. It's come to find out, man, I got bulging discs, I got mental, I mean, just so much stuff, man. Matter of fact, I just signed up to go to Tulane to do a full body assessment for 3 days. They do for those guys who vested in the NFL. So those things, man, I ain't gonna say I took for granted, but I just thought like, man, it ain't gonna happen to me, you know. But when you got a little mental, you can't remember this and all that, you wanna, you know, get to those doctors and really find out, because you are human, you know what I'm saying? But besides that, Straight, I'm alive, I'm living, you know, and I'm gonna always be Swerve. That's what I do, and I'm gonna have my red cup to the day he take me.
Rick, yeah, cheers to that, brother, man. We are happy to have you here, and we don't take you for granted at all. You know, like you said, Larry Allen, the past, and Larry Allen, a lot of players around the United States, you know, not only the NFL, took that very hard. This is a man that was a He-Man of sorts, Samson, if you will, in the football world. A guy, you know, you're talking about an offensive lineman that, you know, was a 700-pound bench press guy. A guy that could run a sub-5 flat 40. I know he looked like a big fat guy, but Larry Allen was a big, strong athlete, and then just a great human being off the field, and just a tragic ending at the age of 52.
52. 52 Straight. I'm 46.
Yeah, it's only a couple weeks away. Yeah.
Hey.
But that's what we got to talk about that. Like, you know, because he leaves behind a family that was on vacation with him actually in Mexico when this happened. And just our condolences, our hearts go out to him, his family, for what happened there. The sudden passing of Larry Allen, Hall of Fame offensive line from the Dallas Cowboys, played with one of our teammates that we're going to talk about here in a moment, you know. But before we get into that part, Michigan State related for everyone. You know, we didn't get a chance to talk about this, but the Big Ten did move the opening game against Florida Atlantic to Friday, August 30th, which is something that's customary in East Lansing at 7 p.m. Swerve, what you think about that?
Hold on, we play who first?
Florida Atlantic. You know who that is.
Man, we gonna kick their ass. That's one. Vegas say we gonna do how many? Did they move to 3.5 or 4?
4.5, I think that's what they say.
Oh, it's 4.5.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we got one because we gonna beat their ass.
5.5. Did it go to 5? Is it 5?
No, Straight. It moved from that. It moved from that. It's at 4. It's at 4 something. Yeah, it moved from that.
Yeah.
It moved from that. Yeah. Yeah, so that's one down. Yep. We
Stats
going, yeah.
Correct.
And they got to come to East Lansing.
That's right. That's
Oh,
Tom Herman.
Yeah.
Tom Herman.
It's gonna be 60 degrees in that time too.
Now August 30th, 60 degrees. Man, we gotta be 75, man. Come on now.
Them city boys gonna be cold in that 60-degree weather in August.
We got our heaters. The city boys. That's true though. Man, and some other, some news from Michigan State. We got some pro football focused grades that came in. And man, we got the highest graded returning interior offensive lineman in the Big Ten. We're talking about none other than Tanner Miller. That's the transfer from Oregon State. That's going to be the starting center for Michigan State. Swerve.
We got the highest grade returning Big Ten O-line.
Interior. They like to separate the guards and centers from the tackles.
Okay, so that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. Okay, so that means that's the case. Then we should be able to control the ball and run the ball. Then
that's right. You like to hear that. Ain't nothing like having a good center, right, Swerve? You got to have a good center. You got a good center.
I had one. Number 79, bow-legged and pigeon-toed with knocking.
We got Tanner though. Tanner gonna bring it. I think that he made some All-American lists out west, and he's bringing that expertise and the knowledge of the offense that Jonathan Smith runs. That he's accustomed to running. A lot of great X's and O's, a lot of schemes that they're going to be bringing to the Big Ten that a lot of coaches ain't ready for, man. And I trust that a guy like Tanner Miller is going to be coaching up the rest of that offensive line to get them up to speed in a fast way, Swerve, especially when
that's the thing about playing that center position that some people may know, some people may not know. That center is the quarterback of that offensive line. He can they get those codes, their code names that they can speak through on the run pass, and always calling out the mic and calling out the linebacker for the running backs and all that type of stuff, man. I seen it sometimes where the center and the quarterback got in an argument because he wanted to point out the mic, but the quarterback wanted the other mic. So that's why you get the OC saying, you know what, whoever the quarterback say the mic is, that's who the mic is. You know what I mean? So, but that's a guy that know the offense, can help those other four guys out. Hey, as long as we win 5 games, baby, and I win in my mortgage badge, I'm good.
No, we bowl bound at least, baby. That's what we doing in East Lansing. That's what's happening. So look, man, speaking of players in East Lansing, Michigan State did have several recruits on official visits this past weekend, Swerve.
9.
9.
We had 9, baby.
Yeah, you ain't lying, man. Hey, Swerve do his homework. And what highlighted by none other than Braylon Collier. Now, here's Braylon Collier. Talk about his stats, Swerve.
First of all, he's the top athlete in Ohio. He's a receiver. He run the 100-yard dash in 11.2. They say he run the 40 in a 4.5. And he's one of the top dogs in Ohio. His first visit, he came to East Lansing because he know where you get paid at in East Lansing, the green and white, baby.
That's right. 13 games played, 80 receptions, 1,164 yards. Swerve, 18 touchdowns.
Oh, hold on, straight. 13 games, and he caught the ball 80 times.
That's crazy.
So that quarterback ain't throw the ball to nobody else.
No, it must not have. Hey, it must not. 18 touchdowns. Hey, he over a touchdown a game. We need some of that. We definitely need some of that in these last.
To go along with Mama. What's Mama? Mama Tron's son. He can put him in the slot. Mama Tron's son on the outside. Shit, let's go to the bowl, baby.
Let's get it. I know there's rumors out there that he's close to making his mind up, but I think as Spartan Nation gets behind, what this football team and the program, show Braylon Collier some love if you can. We need to get him here to East Lansing.
They say he a top dog in Ohio, so we can get him out of Ohio.
Yeah.
We're doing pretty good. We're doing pretty good.
Another one where we got to talk about, we got to talk about the big fellas, man. Darius Alfalava. He was in town this weekend, man. That's big fella, dog, from Utah. That's one of them the Polynesian boys,
Ooh, yeah. Straight. They ain't the ones that do this. Oh, see, he doing the LeBron, but I thought they the one that do the You remember when we went out there, they used to do the chat.
Yeah. 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 All that. Yeah. I remember Coach Tranquil used to, when we were about to play Oregon. Do we have a picture of him with Coach Smith? Yeah, when we were about to play Oregon, and he was trying to get everybody on the offensive line scared, man. The offensive coordinator at Michigan State under Nick Saban. And he used to, they eat fire. He'd be in your face talking about they eat fire, they fire eaters. So try to get everybody nervous. And like, you want us to be scared, or you want us to go out here and play well, Coach? Like, which one is it?
Hey, when I saw all 4 of them dudes doing that, shit, I was scared.
Right. We hope we get him, man. He's got, I think he has UCLA on the list, amongst others. Michigan State, obviously, but he's got LSU. Got a couple schools that he's visiting, but hopefully we can land a big fella like this, athletic, out of Utah. A lot of big fellas come out of man. A lot of those guys go to Utah. Utah's got some trenches out there. The Utes.
Hey, one thing about this Smith guy, man, he's trying to get the big kids on the line. We got an All-American center. Now we got a 2 big young guys coming in as well. He's trying to adapt to the Big Ten. He got to get some trenches because the Michigan cats down there, what they did to Alabama and what they did in the national yeah. We got to get big. We got to get big down there. So, hats off to him. He trying to recruit in the trenches. And, hopefully we can land a few of them big kids.
We need to do that. We got to do a Spartan Nation stand up, reach out to these boys on Twitter, Instagram, wherever it is, show them some love. Tell them that they really want it here in East Lansing. Also, we got to talk about another trench before we move on to one of our former dogs, but we got another pro football focus for the top offensive tackles in the Big Ten. Show who we got.
That's your boy again.
Man, this is it again. Here we go. We're gonna get Saban. Hey man. Here we go. Here we go again. Stats and info. We're gonna call. You know what we gotta do? We gotta call Coach in for a team meeting, internal, and give a speech to what it takes. What does it take to break you? What did the detail? How did the inches? All those kinds of things. And I don't think he's gonna be as nice as you and I are. But hey, sometimes it takes what it takes. Swerve. Sometimes.
What are you doing?
So congratulations.
Miami shit up here.
Damn, man. You tell me to do it, and then you leave me hanging. Boy, I'm going to tell you what. Congratulations to Andre Rison. Spartan Dawgs is now the new interim head coach at the University of Liggett in the Detroit area, brother. How about that? This is something that Andre Rison has been working with a lot of youth around the country, and he's got his head coaching job. Swerve, you've been there before. What you got? What kind of advice you have for Dre Rison?
One thing I would tell Dre to do is make sure he have structure, discipline, and and make sure that he's built a foundation and a unity where these kids feel like they got brother, they got family. Especially if that's an inner city school. You know what I mean? Because what people don't realize when you're in school, sometimes you're more in school than you at home, especially when you're playing sports. You know what I mean?
Definitely not inner city. This is the privileged boys up here now. They got
he's straight. Oh, yeah, he's straight.
It's like
he got nothing to worry about.
Environment like you. Yeah.
Oh yeah. He ain't got nothing to worry about. He's straight up. He's straight. Oh yeah, they roll out the red carpet for him. You know, he ain't got to go out there with no. He ain't got to go out there with no helmet and beg for quarters and dollars like I had to. So he's okay. He's gonna be all right. But he was assistant coach already, right?
He was assistant coach. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
He was assistant coach. So he knows the kids. He know what's going on. He know the league. He know the teams that he got to play against. So it's not like he just getting off the couch and just deciding to be a head coach.
Oh, no.
So.
I mean, yeah, he's turned down a lot of college offers, honestly, from the word on the street. This is the guy that we're in talks with him to bring him on the show. He definitely, with his family situation right now, is wanting to stay local. But you are going to see Coach Rising, Bad Moon Rising on a
Bad Moon Rising.
Real soon.
We need to get him on the show, Stray, because I got a few questions that I really want to ask that, cover things that happened back in the days. I ain't scared to ask. I want to know the answer.
Hey, shouldn't be scared. I think you're talking about something that happened in Atlanta, so I know how you are. I know what you're thinking about. He like the famous people. Okay. Look.
But Bad Moon, boy, he was a tough receiver, though. He was tough. He was tough.
First round to the Indianapolis Colts, man. He was a dog, man. Hey, and then he got a Super Bowl at the end. Yeah, he is a guy that should be in the Hall of Fame. And speaking of the Hall of Fame, we got to talk about the 2025 College Football Hall of Fame ballot. Swerve, our guy, Flozell Adams, made the ballot.
When I look back, who was that behind Flo?
Oh no, who is that? Little skinny arms. Little skinny arms at, man.
Forget Flo. Who that is behind Flo? Hey, one thing about Flo, man. Flo, and you know what? I don't know. When I was a freshman, right? Mm-hmm. And he had to get help to put on his shoulder pads. He just looked bigger than life though when they finished. And then I used to get his hand taped, and he just used to just do this like this. I mean, he just looked bigger than life. Like I was like, God, I ain't never seen nothing like it, right?
He is bigger than life.
And then he just played like the thing about Flo played when he wanted to play. Like it just seemed like when we got there, it was like it was boring to him. He was just ready to go to the league. But when he had to play like Simeon Rice or anybody that had a name, man, he kicked their ass, man.
Yeah, he did. He did a hell of a job. I mean, when Flo was motivated, there's nobody in the world that could stop him.
At all.
No way. No way. He's a guy, college Hall of Fame guy, and down the road, he can get him a gold jacket too. But who else is on the list, Swerve?
See, now this is my thing. I want all the people to understand this and listen to me, right? Okay, I'm not knocking Jesus. I'm not knocking Nick Saban at all. One thing I want to know is a lot of these coaches getting these titles of, the greatest coaches of all time, or he's a great coach. But what a lot of people don't understand is a lot of head coaches do not coach position. Or do not call plays. Like say Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin is his own offensive coordinator. The dude down in Texas is his own offensive coordinator. The dude at USC is his own offensive coordinator. Like if these guys win and win the national championship and get over 100, 200 victories, right? Those are great coaches to me. I'm not knocking Saban. Like Saban, so I'm asking people, and I had a chance to be there, and I know it's his defense and things like that, but he don't call no offense. He don't do anything. He couldn't go out recruiting, so my thing is, too, some of these coaches that's going into the Hall of Fame, what about these assistant coaches? Because he had a guy, Bobby Williams, with him for over 20-some years. You know what I'm saying? Who a lot of times, your position coaches, you talk to your position. It's sometimes that every player on a team did not talk to a head coach or talk to Saban every day, but you had to talk to your position coach or you had to talk to your offensive coordinator every day.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So I feel like coaches that. So is he a good overseer? Not saying. I'm just saying other coaches that don't coach a position. Are they just good overseers? Or are they just good? I don't know the word, but when you say that, right, they're not calling plays. So you got a hell of an OC. You got. I seen times where in offensive practice where Saban stay on the defensive field. We doing our own stuff on the offensive field, preparing for the week. You understand what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I'm like, when these head coaches go in, I just hope that they acknowledge some of these great assistant coaches that they have. Because if we just break down the Michigan State staff, Trey, but you probably know the number better than me, how many head coaches off that staff?
Oh, boy, I think in Nick Saban's staff at Michigan State, he had about 4 or 5 guys on the staff that ended up being head coaches.
You had 3 GAs now. 3 GAs end up being head coaches, right?
Yeah.
Tucker, Gates, and dude at the Giants.
He bounced around. But here's the position coaches right here. Thank you, Stats and Info, producer. Gary Tranquil. So he was an offensive coordinator. He was towards the end of his career when he came to Michigan State. But Bobby Williams, he was a head coach. Charlie Baggett, let's run that back. Charlie Baggett was a great position coach and recruiter. Pat Shermer, 3-time NFL head coach.
DPs, these are the coordinators in the league. Like, I mean, come on.
He was a head coach. And then was Mark D'Antonio, did he ever get to be a head coach? Did he? That's one of your
This is what I'm saying.
That's the greatest head coach in Michigan State history. And that's
but I give
about the GAs, as you just said.
But Saban, I mean not Saban, Strayhorn, I give Saban credit. He do always work with the DBs. He worked with the DBs at his camps and things like that. I wasn't just talking about Saban, but I was just saying, like, you look at some coaches where they do not coach a position and they're not a coordinator. So what do you call them? You call them head coaches, but are they overseers? You know what I mean? And then if you take his Alabama staff, come on, we got the guy at Maryland. You got the guy at one of them Eastern Western Michigan schools. You got the guy at Alabama. I mean Georgia. We can go on and on. I mean, it's just you
Georgia. They're everywhere. Miami.
You had great assistants. Florida. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Great assistants that follow you everywhere.
Yeah.
If you take a guy like Bobby Williams, he's with you at Michigan State. He's with you at LSU. He's with you at Miami Dolphins. He's with you at Alabama.
Yeah, I know. It's that they may need a new category. They may need to start putting assistant coaches in the Hall of Fame. Some of those guys get a shot at being head coaches, and people say, okay, but do they have the ability to get those great assistants like Nick Saban was able to do it? Maybe is there a managing style that he has to bring the best out of people? Is that unique? There's a lot of questions there. I understand where you're coming from, but it's like, what is there? Is it just that he picked the best coaches, or did he make the coaches great? I don't know.
And then another question I asked. Another question I asked Stray, like, was he great? Was he a great motivator? Like, did he give those Ray Lewis or those speeches that make you want to feel like you will run through a wall? You know what I mean? I think he's challenged guys. He challenged guys to be better, and he can point out your faults, and he can paint a picture where right from wrong. But did you motivate me where I just wanted to just die for the game of football? But at the end of the day, he won his championships. He did what he do. But one thing I said in a speech one time, I said every great coach that we say that's a great coach, they had a great assistant coaches and they had great players.
Yeah.
Think about those Alabama games. I mean, them Alabama championships. You done had Heisman Trophy winners. You done had hell of a first rounders. You know what I'm saying? And if you think about Belichick, everybody say he's one of the greatest. The first thing you're going to say is what? Tom Brady. He had great players too. So I guess one hand got to watch another one, right?
Yeah, we going to figure this out. I mean, Tom Brady did settle that argument, but we got to move on to our special guest. because this is an educational segment we're about to have right here. And this guy right here has nothing but knowledge, a wealth of knowledge, and a lot of energy. This guy's nothing but a spitfire, brother. You know what that means. So we're going to see him in a moment after these messages from our friend Swerve over at IHOP.
Ooh, I like these pancakes.
Right this way. That looks delicious.
No, stop.
The night shift is falling asleep on job. Testing came back. Numbers look great.
Hey. Whoa!
Thank you.
Come feed your inner child and set your imaginary friends free with a menu inspired by the all-new movie If, only at IHOP. Kids eat free 4 to 10 p.m. and see If, only in theaters May 17th.
Oh, I should have worn a suit.
Swerve, man, without further ado, brother, it is time to bring on none other than attorney, NIL expert, and straight-up pit bull dog, Michael Stein joins. This is Sparta MSU. What's up, Mike? How you doing, Steiner?
Jason, thank you so much for having me on.
Yes.
I'm well.
You're chilling on the couch, hanging out. You got the nice beard going.
I'm in the basement. The kids are upstairs. They're getting ready for bed, and so I'm in the corner of the basement. Undoubtedly, they'll hear me screaming down here, but yeah, I'm just in the I'm just chilling in the basement right now.
In the basement, Sad just went to the basement too as soon as you came on, but we just got it back.
I wanted to play hide and go seek with Mike.
Well, Mike, man, thank you for taking some time out on you and you're off
Sure.
of shower and get the kids to bed duty for a moment. But man, tell us what it's like right now, because this is a new industry when you talk about what's going on in name, image, likeness. You're an attorney in the state of Michigan, and tell us how you got into it and what you're seeing right now.
Yeah, excuse me. I mean, it's a full-on lucrative 7-figure business, right? I mean, that's what it is. It comes with everything that comes along with running and being part of a lucrative industry, right? Where there's a lot of money on the line. What had brought me into it was, I have a business transactional background. I've been a seasoned attorney for the last 15 years. And what attracted me to the NIL was something similar to what I do in the adult use marijuana industry with Michigan and licensing. It was a brand new industry, right? It was a brand new, per se, area of the law. And that's really what intrigued me about it. Like marijuana in Michigan, in 2016, they legalize it. And then we have this brand new system that it's incumbent upon the lawyers, right, and the professionals to kind of advance and kind of make our own way, right, and make our own roads and push our agenda. It was the same thing with NIL, right? 3 years ago, this NIL happens. And, I knew myself that 90% of the people are going to be full of shit. Can I swear on this or no? Is that an interruption?
Yeah.
I'll try to be careful, but
Yeah.
I knew that most of the people involved in this would be full of shit, that they had no experience managing people. They had no experience running through contracts, right? Stuff that I've been doing on a daily basis for the last 15 years, right? Trying to analyze if it's a good business deal, looking at the character of the people you're doing business with, right? Stuff that I do on a daily basis. So I said, I was talking with an old school coach. His name's Eric Campbell. They call him Coach Soup. Old school coach, coach of wide receivers at Michigan. And I was just telling him my vision, right? I was like, I've kind of nerded out on this NIL stuff and I understand it. And I said, it's very similar to the industry where I just came from, where, man, you can really start to make your own way, right? As long as you operate within the confines of the law, you can really do some damage, right? And he liked what I had to say. And he said, you know what? He's like, I got a dad I want you to talk to. His son is a 5-star. And at that time, as much as I like football and everything, I wasn't paying attention to, college, high school football and whatnot. And he said his son's a 5-star. And I figured I knew what a 5-star was. But then when I did my research and I saw that there's 32 of them, 32 of them out of 1 million players, right? I said, man, I said, I would be willing to put the time in, right? Put the time in and really see what type of damage I can do, from an attorney, helping out with marketing, helping out with the infrastructure, right? Using my connections, right? Really starting to do things with this athlete and see what we could really create. And so, we kind of hit it off, myself and him and his family, and we have a lot in common. We shared a lot of the same vision for his name's William Johnson, Will Johnson. We shared a lot of the same vision, and that's really how I got started, was in there. And I do a lot of contract review for other athletes, and I'm involved in other things like that. But in terms of really being involved on a day-to-day basis, I really was able to cut my teeth with Will, right? And because he's a top-tier player, maybe not the same as as a Jackson Dart or JJ McCarthy or Caleb Williams, right? The sexier positions, or Swerve and Cedric Irvin. But so it was, gave me an opportunity to really be involved on a day-to-day basis and check the ins and outs of everything that was going on. And what I realized is that, you really have to have a big picture of this whole thing, right? You really have got to understand all of the pieces of the puzzle, and it is very complex. And it is very complex. It is very lucrative, but with a lot of money comes a lot of responsibility and a lot of other things, right? These athletes now towards the top, right? And that's NIL is different for everyone, right? There's different levels to this shit, right? Mm-hmm. And so I know it from more of a top tier level, right? But there's a lot of things that go into it, right? There's the contract review. There's whether these deals are right for these kids from a compensation standpoint, from a deliverable standpoint. And what you also have to be careful of is doing stuff right now that may hurt you in the future. Meaning, if you take a deal right now with a vitamin company, you may not be able to do a supplement later down the road, right? Or you take a deal with a local health and fitness place, you may not get a deal with Equinox or Planet Fitness down the road. And so there's other things. There's just so much that goes into it. It's hard for me to find a starting place, right? But I'm assuming you guys have discussed it a little bit on the show, and the fans kind of know what NIL is and how they make their money. I'm happy to give a little background, but
yeah, no, so no, that was great when you talked about kind of how you got started into this business. Where'd you go to school? Where's your alma mater?
You know the answer to that. I went 4 years at MSU undergrad, and then 3 years, and I graduated from MSU College of Law.
Okay.
Yeah,
you was in class with me.
Listen, I got 7 years there. I still pay the student loans every month. So my money, everything goes to MSU, and all my love goes to MSU. Obviously as a professional, we represent, kids from different schools because, I'm a capitalist, right? And so it is what it is, and Michigan's hot right now, and they've got a good thing going on there. So, but I love Spartan Nation. My heart is with Spartan Nation. I would really like to see a little bit more top tier NIL activity, from MSU so that they can compete with what I see going on with some of these other schools.
Oh, wait a minute. So what are you seeing? Like, because you're talking about Will Johnson from the University of Michigan, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The client you're referring to, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
What are you saying you'd like to see out of Michigan State? Like, because I don't know what.
Well, I'd like to see the NIL program, right, take off a little bit more. And I think that, what you saw with Michigan was that they've been actively working on it and trying to find some revenue streams for their collective so that they can be long-term feasible, right? And so I just don't, I don't know if I see as much going on with MSU as I'd like to. And now knowing, now having dealt with some more prospects and whatnot, and student athletes that are coming in now, we know that everything is just costing more money, right? That athletes are, NIL is now something that can be discussed with the collective prior to you signing with the school, right? So you're bringing that more to the forefront where, the compensation collective component is very big. I'm not going to say it's the only thing, because it's definitely not. There's definitely other, parts of choosing where a recruit would want to go to school, but it's certainly something now that it's a part of the conversation. And obviously, as a Michigan State fan, I want to see MSU have the most robust, a collective supporting the players as they possibly can. And, I think we've seen some other schools, right, that have, really, Tennessee with Spire, and what Oregon has going on with Phil Knight, and, the fund, it seems like Notre Dame, they've got the #1 ranked recruiting class, if I'm not mistaken, for next year. You can assume that some of that has to do with, what they have, the fund, right, which is the Friends of the University of Notre Dame. And so I'd have to imagine that, in this climate, that has something to do with it, especially knowing what we knew a year before, where, Texas A&M, right, or 2 years ago, has this tremendous class. I don't want to speculate too much, but you can only presume that in this landscape that they have a robust NIL collective that is saying, listen, we're going to take care of you. And they're making these decisions very easily, right? Money talks and bullshit walks. That's been since day one, and that'll never stop, right? And so, so
on that, I know you've been following this settlement. That was the big topic of discussion the last couple of weeks here.
Yeah.
The House case, and now the $2.8 billion settlement is going to force all schools, I guess the Power 4 schools or whatever they call them, and including Oregon State and Washington State. So the acrimonious.
It's going to bind all D1 schools. Actually, it's kind of it's a little.
But the 20 million, that 20 to 22 million, is only going to be for those.
Yes, but it just binds everyone else, right?
Everybody's
right.
Yeah.
It's fascinating. It's fascinating, but there are things like that, and you have to look at them in practical terms, right? Like, how is that going to be implemented? And that's where there's a lot of things that have to be worked out. I love it, but there's some interesting stuff here, right? First, I'm going to make a comment on the settlement of $2.7 billion. In my world as a lawyer, if you're settling for $2.7 million, you guys have any idea what that means your actual exposure is?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because they have the treble damages and all that. I mean,
just basically the way I see it is it would have bankrupted the NCAA, right? And so, they had no choice but to try this settlement. There's a few funky things going on, though. The House, Hubbard, and I think it was Carter. I forgot the other name. Right there. That's where they're working the settlement. The Fontenot case is not part of this, and they tried to have the Fontenot case consolidated, and the judge denied that. And so Fontenot is separate, and that is a case where he's claiming lost wages, for not being able to collect. He's claiming a violation of antitrust for not being able to collect wages. And so that case is still an antitrust case, right? So that's still out there, so they have to deal with that. But yeah, the settlement with this case is supposed to be $2.7 billion, paid out for athletes since 2016, right? Which would be the statute of limitations when everyone could sue. And the idea is so that would stop these antitrust lawsuits. There's a few wrinkles in that to see if that's actually going to happen. And then the $21 million represents 22% of the TV rights, right? That's supposed to go now to the athletes. But, Jason, as you and I talked about, now you have to talk about whacking up $21 million between the entire athletic department. And the question is, how do you do that, right? You're going to try to come up with something fair, but you're going to have a guy like me that is either advocating for the football team or the stars of the football team saying, wait, we're the revenue generating sport. My guys are the top athletes on the team. You want me to take, $100,000 instead of $1 million, which is what my actual worth is, so that money can go to the, men's ping pong team. And so, you're going to have guys like me that say, I have a fiduciary to say, listen, you're leaving a lot of money on the table, right? So there's a few things I'm concerned about, and I don't want to be one of those guys that's like, oh, this is going to work. This sucks. Like, I like the idea of the framework. However, it's very important that that money be in addition to other NIL, and the collectives don't go away. I don't want to see something where they try to make it so, the schools say you have to give us your exclusive NIL rights in order to get this money, or they try to put strings on it, because that money is going to them from TV rights. They've earned it, right? They're earning it from the TV rights, so they should just get it. So my only problem is when you involve the universities now, are they going to try to take back some of the power because they're doling out that money? Right now, you've got them back in. We just kind of got rid of everyone and said, you guys are free to make your money, do your thing. Now we're bringing this back into it. So I do have some concerns, with that. I want it to be in addition to, not in place of. And then I want to see how they're going to work out spreading it out, because like I said, for my guys that are the top draws on TV, right? For some of the players on U of M, for example, they should have a much bigger piece of that pie. And it's frankly, it would be, I guess, against their best interest to allow that money to go to other sports that are non-revenue generating.
Whoa, man. Yeah, but I mean, you got to be a courageous athletic director in this climate to be able to stand up and say that, because there's going to be a lot, with things like Title IX. But before we get into that, we have Trevorpedia. This is an encyclopedia that is a normal member in the chat group here. He says this. Now, U of M football spent $3.4 million last season for NIL. This year, U of M will spend $11.7 million. Now, knowing what you know about,
that's correct. That's correct. He must have heard Nate Forbes speak at the event we were just at the Daxton. Maybe he didn't, but that's what they reported. But yes, that's Nate Forbes, who runs the collective.
Got to take your hats off to Trevor. Hey, there it is. Here Trevor.
Hey, I think Michigan just offered my son. Let me text him real quick to ask him, because if he did.
No. So Spartan MD says, counselor, do you foresee NIL expanding to high school?
Yeah, it already is right now. It passed in whatever the House or the Senate in Michigan. I forgot which one it is, but it's got to make its way then through the Senate. It's that way in California, and then Florida today just passed it. So once it gets passed, it applies to the high school athletes. And quite frankly, in Michigan right now, there are a few athletes, Bryce Underwood being one, that I mean, this guy is a, he has Charles Rogers type rating on him, 99.99, right? The quarterback out of Belleville, and so he's worth a lot. He could earn a lot of money. There are people, I guarantee, that would do deals with him right now. Big deals, right? Big deals. I mean, he could do specials on Netflix. He could do whatever he wanted, And so, yeah, I do see it. It's eventually going to expand, because, the house of cards is starting to fall. The idea of restricting people from getting their net worth, what their worth is just ridiculous, right? I mean, that's just not the world we live in anymore,
Yeah, man. Now the house of cards is starting to fall. So what do you think about the idea? Because there's a lot of people talking about this whole employment model and players getting to a position of collectively bargaining. You talked about the antitrust cases that are not being consolidated. So there's no end in sight, according
there
to.
Might not be.
Right.
I mean, that may, I don't know. I think you may be. I'm not as well versed on it, like in that area, in terms of what would happen if they become employees and how everything gets collectively bargained for. Other than to say it would be very interesting, very interesting. I don't necessarily know how that would play out, other than to say at this point, the cat is not going back in the bag, right? We have NIL, there are collectives, everybody wants to win. The pressure to win is tremendous. The pressure to sign, 5-star athletes is at the height of anything we've ever seen, right? All of the eyes are on college football in terms of this business model, right? And you have characters that have been introduced into the college world that have business appeal. Deion Sanders, right? To a certain extent, Mel Tucker, you found him and, he was in GQ magazine and stuff like that. And so I'm just saying that there's a lot more, there's just so much crossover with college football and athletes and social media that it's all such big business that you just can't see it going anywhere, right? Everybody wants to win everyone wants to win the national championship, especially in this new climate of the college football playoff. And now you have these super leagues and whatnot. So everything is just becoming more and more intense, right? Like nothing has backed off, right? Everything has got more intense, and the desire to really be the best of the best, right, is at an all-time high, right? It was at such an all-time high that we now, 2 years ago, Jason, we were talking about, Saban is going after Kirby Smart, and all of these guys at the top are going after each other, right? Because the idea of being number one, everyone wants it. And so I just don't see the cat going back in the bag in terms of collectives, in terms of the money flowing in, because, certain schools are flush with cash, right? They work a little bit differently. And so I just don't see them, going away or pulling back.
Man, so do you think this is a thing that it's about your resources or willingness to spend the resources? Because, what we've been seeing is that some schools can be wealthy, you look Harvard, probably the wealthiest, school out there, right? They've got one hell of an endowment, right? But they're not in this game, right? So,
no.
So that doesn't, nor do they even care about this game.
No, I think
that power for school.
Yeah, you're going to see that. I mean, I feel like you're going to see that at a Harvard, so to speak, right? That's not that makes a little sense. Who knows though, I think I was watching a special on something about about Harvard and the Ivy League, and back in the day, I think I was watching something about them giving scholarships, right? It dealt with scholarships. And so they started to give scholarships because, Yale started winning in the rowing races, right? And so Harvard had to go out and give scholarships to get the better athletes, right? Or maybe lower their standards and stuff. So this is really, I really feel like it's been going on forever, and with those Ivy Leagues, some of them are going to get pissed off, right? One of those schools, Brown, whatever it is, Cornell, starts to kick everyone's ass because they got a few players. And next thing you're going to see is, Harvard's throwing crazy money at people. Maybe you may see that, maybe not. But what we do know, Jason, is that in the SEC in the South, that's all they have is they are football. I don't know what else goes on in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, besides football, right? What the fuck else are they doing there? Nothing. Okay. So yes, you see the guy, that I don't give a piss about nothing but the Tide, you know what I mean? Fucking barefoot and just half drunk. That's all they care about. And so these guys are going to support this culture to the day they die, and the same thing in the state of Ohio, right? I don't mean to trash Ohio, but you guys have been there. What the fuck else is in Ohio, right? It's not a wonderland. There's no Somerset there. They have no Somerset Mall, so they have. So I mean, these are the fans are crazy, and they're dying to support. I don't know. The question is, are you going to see a lot more grassroots, right? Where you have some of these coaches out here saying, "Listen, guys, we need some support here, right? If you are a fan of the UConn Huskies, please donate what you can." So maybe you see some schools come up with some better, or some collectives come up with some better grassroots type stuff. But I think the future is the collectives are going to have to learn of ways to earn, to have revenue streams for the collective so that they can try to keep this thing, flowing. And I've seen certain schools are headed in that direction. They're doing a little bit better than others, and other schools are relying solely on, the big donors. Right. And that whoever it was, the encyclopedia, the Spartanpedia, said Michigan's was 11.7. But we know that is not even the top end.
No.
You know what I mean? That and it's reasonable. Because I know, and I can't go into specifics of the Michigan contracts, but their numbers aren't as crazy as some of the other numbers, right? At some of the other schools, they've got rosters just chock full of expensive players, so that's where the game is going. That's where I shouldn't say going, it's where it is. So you can either participate or just know you don't have a chance at these recruits if you're not involved, in this game. And then the second thing is the roster retention, right? If you're, agents are a funny thing, right? Some of these sports agents that are sports agents, but now they have NIL, they have NIL divisions and whatnot. They can't wait for a coach or a team or a collective to say, hey, I can't get you this, here's what we're going to give you. And so they can say, oh, well, we're gonna go test the waters then, and this school is paying this and this school is paying that, and so now you've got people that are just ready to pounce, right, and test the free agency market. So it's right, street agents. Steve Smith is that the Steve Smith that's doing that, or no?
It's our Steve Smith. It's not your Steve Smith. It's ours.
What do you mean? That's bullshit. I mean, he needs to say not Steve Smith. Like not the real.
He wears the same size as Steve Smith did when he was playing at Michigan State.
Right.
230.
Okay.
How much?
Okay. Well, I appreciate his comments. I'm glad no one says anything bad, because I don't want to have to go at people in this. Like, I don't handle criticism well.
No. You're not a street agent. I don't think he's saying that.
No. I know he wasn't. He was, but I'm saying these comments are very nice. I haven't seen anyone being mean out here, is what I'm saying.
Oh, you ready for war? See, calm down, Pitbull.
Yeah, no, right. That's what I'm.
Family-friendly place here, man. We're trying to get educated. That's all. We all want to know what's going on out here in the market.
Yeah, Sedrick, you haven't said a damn thing. I want to hear what you have to say. And Jason, just so you know, I'm a fan of Sedrick. I started MSU in '99, and we would drive home every Sunday to watch the Lions game. And trust me, I mean, what that's like after a Saturday night, and I went hard, right? Jason, nothing I do is easy.
Nothing.
And so I went hard. And then waking up at 7 a.m. with those sweats and having to drive home, right, from East Lansing to Detroit to watch the games, I was able to watch number 33, right? He had the little back pad. Unfortunately, now they call it a pussy pad, but back in the day, it was sweet. That's what they call it now, right, Cedric? They do. But back in the day, that was part of his swag. I think he had his jersey tucked up a little bit. And he was sweet. He also, I think it was like your rookie year. You had a couple touchdowns, right? Like it was badass.
I had the most touchdowns. I had the most touchdowns.
Right, and so I remember like being at the games and being like, "This is awesome," because Sedrick also had like the grill. Like before, it was cool to have a grill. Sedrick had some shit going on in there. I didn't even know like. So I remember like the whole buzz around him is like, is this guy like going to be a problem, or like, should we draft this guy or whatnot? But I was ecstatic about it because I like the badassness. I like the badassness of him. So I do enjoy speaking with you, Sedrick. I'd like to hear what you have to say.
No, Mike,
I would have cashed you in. You know what I mean? I would have, if I were your agent, I would have cashed you in. I mean, I just would have had you just being you all over TV, right?
But Mike, it's not too late, because you know what? I got 2 sons, so that's why I was quiet, because that way you got 2 ears and 1 mouth. I was trying to listen because I was getting educated. Yeah, I was getting educated. Okay.
So there's a couple
the way you was talking and
how old are
the
these
contracts you talking about. I'm willing to once get your number after this, and we can. I need you. Yeah, I don't care about what other people say.
You're not the only one, I promise you.
We're going to the highest bidder. It's time. I need some get backs. We're going to I'm letting it be known.
That's almost like I say, Sedrick, is every time I think that I'm negotiating and people are like, the people that are like, oh, this is bad for the sport and stuff. They're the same people that like go to a city council meeting and just sit there and bitch. You know, those people, right? Like I'm a lawyer, you know, so like I have to go present and do things. And there'll be 3 or 4 people there that are writing things down that just have nothing better to do but to complain, right? Those are the same people that are like, this is ruining college football. This is ruining sports, right? You know, they don't care about the athlete and they don't care about the 100 years that athletes have been exploited, right? And this is why I talked about the yelling. See, I'm yelling and the dog is I got a Rottweiler upstairs. She's going crazy. Everyone's going crazy. My wife is going to text me, shut your mouth in any minute. But I don't know. I lost my train of thought here. But Sedrick, go ahead.
No, Mike, it's been great. Like I said, it's been great, Mike. Listening to you, you very educated, and like I said, I got a sophomore son. It's not about my son, but you know, we got.
Well, if I could say, you know, I don't know what time we have to leave at, but it is very important that you know, if anyone out there is listening and you have a child that's involved in this, you got to have professionals, right? There's only so much that a parent can expect to know. And I've only went into a quarter, right, of what I know, what we've experienced, what I've reviewed in the contracts, you know, all the things about is the money from a good source, you know, a trusted source. There's so many things that if I can give any advice, right, if you have the ability, and I know guys like me are harder to come across, right? A lot of it I do for my time, for my athletes. I give a little bit more, you know, they're harder to find. But I would say if you're listening and you have a kid, you've got to have professionals. Otherwise, things can go sideways for you very, very quickly. Go ahead, Sedrick.
It's Mike.
No, it ain't gonna go sideways for me. It's not gonna go sideways for me because I'm coming to Michael D. Stein.
Well,
Mike,
listen. We'll talk. I don't know about these kids. I got to see about these kids. What do you got? You got 4 or 5 stars out there? How are these kids looking?
Man, he's got one at Stanford and another one that's about to. He's a high 4, gonna be a 5.
Oh, he's got Stanford. He's got a kid at Stanford. He's got a kid at Stanford.
Yeah, I told you, man, you was in the same business class, Mike. Come on, baby.
It's got to be the wife, Sedrick. Sedrick, it's got to be the wife. Your wife is probably just a smart dime piece, is what you have. It ain't you. Don't take that credit for that.
Don't you take that credit.
Don't
you dare take that credit. Hey, Mike, there's parents in the chat. The people are going to be listening to this. Like, how would somebody get a hold of you, or is that something that you just want to be covert?
You know, no. I mean, listen, I'm not covert about anything. You know, my Instagram is public. Like, you know, I've done, my information is everywhere, right? Like, that's just kind of the way I work. I'm a little bit different. I've represented some, you know, NFL athletes, Calvin Johnson, some others. I'm kind of known in this community. You can reach out to me via Instagram, or if you Google Michael D. Stein, right, Bloomfield Hills, I think my cell phone number probably pops up, you know, so people can get a hold of me. I will say this, so I, unfortunately, you know, because I have a successful practice and, you know, I'm capped a little bit, right, on the amount or the people that I can represent, because for me to really be involved, right, to really be able to advise accurately and be able to help with the entire package, because at the end of the day, like I said, with the game at the higher level, you can't let this detract from you getting to the NFL, right? So that's a major component, right? Is some people say no more than we say yes, right? Because there's only so much time in the day. You know, you have to keep your eye on the big prize. And so for me, I am a little bit more selective about who I work with. I'm happy to talk with anyone, right? But for me, I've got to be able to work with the family, right? The mother, because a lot of this is, you know, maybe the parents are together, maybe they're separated. You have to help manage the family, right? Yeah. And that's a huge component. So I have to be able to get along. The family has to like the person that I am, right? I'm maybe not for everyone. You know, they have to like the person I am. I have to be able to get along. We have to share a vision, right? Because the reason I do this is because I want to do it with guys that say, I want to be a marketing icon, right? I want to be a Michael Strayhorn. I want to parlay what I have, this ability, this great, you know, opportunity that I have right now in college, where all the eyes are on me, right? I get a 4-year head start to build my brand, build my notoriety. Like in the social media world we live in, you're deadly if you take advantage of that, right? You are deadly to the tune of, millions of dollars to do a Skims campaign, 1-day shoot, right? Christian McCaffrey did a 1-day shoot with Skims, $1 million, right? Like, to do these things, you have to elevate yourself. And now in college, you have the ability to do it. All of the eyes of the world are on you. And you really got to take advantage of it. And in my opinion, but again, for me, it's about working with athletes like that, right? That really want to take advantage of it, but understand that you got to keep your eye on the prize. If you're going to be a draft pick, then we have to work within that. But for me, that's kind of the level of guys that I'm working with. There's so much time into it. I can only take a few of them, right? Otherwise, I believe, in my opinion, you can't do an effective job, right? And some of these guys got 50 guys. I don't know how the hell they do it. They just are signing people and throwing up names and saying, welcome to the straight up family forever, ever, ever, deuces, like that's what these, the straight up cash money dog family, right? The straight up cash money dog family, come join this. I've got 50 guys. I don't know what the hell they're doing, right? They're in, no one knows, right? But they're signed with Cash Dog Sports Management, right? And then you look on the Instagram page and it's guys like, with just their signs everywhere. And parents will call me. They'll be like, my son wanted to join these guys. And I'm like, let's look at their Instagram page, right? And they got fingers everywhere. You know what I mean? It's just fantastic, right? And ski mask on, But so, yeah, that's where I'm at. I try to give advice though, because I like talking with people. As you can see, you get me started, I won't shut up. Right. Look, this looks like the call. This is a call. That's shut your mouth.
Oh
yeah. No, we're good, but
no, Stein. I mean, this is great. People get a chance to feel your energy, and they love your transparency and all of those things, man, and the education that you bring in. One thing that I am honored to understand now why you have gotten in the shape that you've gotten, that pristine shape. And I didn't know that you were really trying to get one of those Skims deals like Christian McCaffrey.
It wasn't that, but what it was is I didn't want to be the one. So when William and some of my other athletes get drafted, I don't want to be the one fucking up the pictures by being just fat, right? Like some of my athletes, they got a whole perfect family, right? Just, the mom, the dad, the son, the daughter. I didn't want to be the guy in there just all, ruining the NFL pictures. I don't want that. I don't want to be responsible for that.
Oh, you're getting ready for draft night. Okay.
That's right. That's right. I want my draft fit to, my draft day fit to be. I don't want to be the one in the pictures that they look back and they say, man, everyone looks great. Stein's 50 pounds overweight, and is that bottom button is going to pop out and hit the cameraman. So I said, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. I got to take pictures with players. I don't want to look like that guy,
Yeah. No, man. Hey, man, this has been a great
I like the Spartan MD. If the Spartan MD, you need legal services, you call me. Are you a real doctor? Are you a real doctor? Are you a doctor? You call me if you have any problems, but thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate the nice things. And I would love to come back anytime you guys would have me on. I really would love to come back and talk. And, hopefully one day, maybe more, we can talk more about Michigan State's, right? Because after all, this is Sparta. And,
don't want to be coming off as somebody like this bashing Michigan State. But I did not know what you were going to say with that.
No, of course. No. And I don't mean to bash. My intention was not to bash.
But listen, the people, they always think that there's some kind of agenda. The message board is going to be talking all kinds of
bullshit. No.
They don't know what
I just want.
But they say
right. No, I
act like they know.
Right. I just want, obviously I want the best for my university. I want to see them in the top tier. And if there's any way that the university needs me in any capacity, all they have to do is call. They just scream out my name, and I will, and I'll come.
That's right. Man,
So
I appreciate you for coming, man.
thank you so much. Thank you so much. Is that it? Am I done?
That's it.
Am I
Before
done?
you go upstairs and stay out of trouble, give
Jason,
the best.
now I like to go take a little drive in the car.
I know what you're gonna be doing, but that's all right. Man. That's the other industry that you work in, but that's all right.
Thank you guys, Sedrick. It was a pleasure to meet you. You know, listen, your boys. You ever have any questions? You ever need anything? You give me a call.
Oh, yeah.
I'm about to call you in 10 minutes.
No. I'm off for the day. I'm done for the night. You call me tomorrow. I'm done for the night. Thank you guys so much. This was a pleasure. This was an absolute pleasure.
All right,
Love you
Mike.
guys. Bye. All right.
Mike Stein. Hey, Swerve, man.
Hey,
what you think?
Stray, you did not. You at the pre. You know how people have pre-draft parties. We have pre podcast meetings, and you hit the eye on the buzzer. He can talk.
He's a trained lawyer, man. He knows what he's doing. He ain't no joke. No joke. For real. Hey, the whole chat was shocked. He was like, "Is said all right?"
I couldn't. First of all, like I said before, I'm learning the podcast mannerism. All right, my guy Strayhorn told me not to interrupt, not to do this, not to do that. So I had to sit there and listen, and I'm also sitting there listening and learning. And I'm like, oh, this is very, because my CTE was kicking in a little bit with my ADDEH. When that get together, it's not a good sight. So I was just, yeah.
Hey, listen, CTE, your counter's going up. Excellent guess. Damn good job, fellas. Hey, excellent job. Swerve, before we get out of here, any final thoughts, man?
Yeah, send me Mike's number so I can talk about my son.
All right, we got that covered, man. Until next time, we got a special guest. Hey, I think we got a guy, number 28 will be on Thursday. Mike Stein, man, special thanks to Mike Stein. You guys tell me who number 28 is. Send us a chat or something on Twitter or something like that, and you'll know. And we'll tell you if you're right about who number 28 is. But for Sedrick Irvin, I'm Jason Strayhorn. This is Sparta MSU. Everybody have a good night. God bless, and go green.
Go white.